G'day, is Max Verstappen moving to Mercedes, or are the rumours just plain false? There's been a lot of talk recently about Max Verstappen's potential move from Red Bull to Mercedes, and today's Silverstone press conference was dominated by questions regarding George's contract and his future with Mercedes. Right now, the majority of talk is just speculation, but let's look at the facts. Toto, Wolff, Max Verstappen and George Russell have not denied that there are talks going on at the moment. In fact, George was quite open about it in Austria last week with the media, when he said that he's not been given a new contract with Mercedes due to ongoing conversations they're having with Max. This comment forced Toto Wolff's hand as he confirmed that there were conversations going on with the Red Bull driver behind closed doors. Currently, Max is contracted with Red Bull until the end of 2028, so how could it be possible for him to jump ship to Mercedes at the end of this year? Exit clauses. Some drivers have written into their contracts an event or series of events that could trigger a possible early release from their contract, and it's been confirmed by Helmut Marko that this exists in Max's contract. There is some speculation though on what would trigger that clause. My understanding is the clause has not yet been triggered, but could be in the next few weeks depending on his performance. I believe that clause has nothing to do with the team's performance, just Max's. It might be if he was to, say, slip below second or third in the championship by a certain date. This would allow him to break his contract. The exact formula is probably not important at this stage. A few people have suggested that he's definitely leaving because if you have a look at his merchandise page on his website, most of it's been discounted. Is he doing this because he's going to Mercedes next year? I don't think so. I think there are a couple of things at play here. One, his popularity has definitely dipped. That was evident in Austria last weekend when a large section of this grandstand, which is the Max Verstappen grandstand, went unsold. Those seats were purchased by Max or a related entity for resale. The other factor is Red Bull does not change their livery much from season to season, so Max fans don't need to purchase new gear every year. Last year's can still pass as current, although next year that likely won't be the case, as it seems he won't be winning the championship and will revert to number 33 instead of number 1. New merch incoming. As things stand now, I think it's highly unlikely Max will end up at Mercedes next year. Although the team can definitely afford him, after all they're one of the wealthiest teams, and they've saved plenty of money this year by taking on rookie Kimi Antonelli in place of Lewis Hamilton, although I did note that the Mercedes AMG safety car is wrapped in Netherlands gold this weekend. Even the stitching on the seats is in gold. Is that a sign? No, I think that's a coincidence. If Max was to go to Mercedes, why is it George that would lose the seat? His performance during his tenure has been more than adequate, besting Lewis in 2 of the 3 seasons they raced together and notching up 3 wins compared with Lewis's 2 during that time. He's also been consistent this season, currently sits 4th, ahead of Kimi in 7th. So why not Kimi instead of George? Kimi seems to be the future focus of the team. Mercedes have certainly poured a lot of money and time into its development, and there's no doubt that Toto and the team have high hopes for this young Italian becoming a future star of the sport. He's showing promising signs in his debut Mercedes season, so they probably wouldn't replace him without giving him a proper chance. Jumping back to the press conference today, Tom Clark's first question to George was blunt. Got a new contract yet? George explained there was no change since he last spoke with the media in Austria. The next few questions were all directed at George regarding his contract as well. What I did pull from that press conference though is he is not talking to other teams at the moment, and he's confident in his performance. He believes there's a very low chance that he won't be at Mercedes next year, mentioning that Toto has never let him down, and I'm under the same belief. I'd say the chances of Max moving to Mercedes next year probably about 10%. After all, he said he wants to finish his career at Red Bull, and providing they can give him a car, he'll be there. Of course, Lewis said similar things about Mercedes, and look where he is now. So nothing's certain in this sport, but I do think the longer the contract negotiations go on, the less bargaining power George's team might have in the negotiations. Now, I mentioned Lewis Hamilton before. Look what he was dressed in today. A British flag on a Burberry outfit. It was sparkly, it was exciting, and certainly when he came in today, he had the attention of all the media. Another character getting plenty of attention in the paddock today was Percy Pig, in particular from Ollie Behrman. Ollie was intrigued, in fact, trying to get a glimpse inside that head to work out who was operating the big pig. Percy is very popular in these parts, I'm told, and lavished Ollie and others with plenty of hugs. Lando Norris is at his home race. He'll be hoping to score a win on Sunday, obviously in front of a huge crowd. It's one of the biggest crowds. No, it is the biggest crowd that we have of the year, and he has his own grandstand, the Lando stand. It's out at Stowe, and it'll be full of people wearing these shirts because that's part of your ticket price. Now that person with the t-shirt was out at the fan forecourt. That is a new development here. There were no fans out there this morning because they weren't allowed until well after the drivers arrived, but that won't be the case for the remaining days of the race. But there were a few people there early. Some were workers, and a couple of people said they just snuck in. Still on the subject of drivers' cars, first time I think I've ever seen a Porsche driven by an F1 driver at an F1 event. Alex Albon in a Porsche Taycan. Like George Russell, that is his private car. There were new jackets on the Alpine drivers, well, on one Alpine driver today, and the other Alpine driver's girlfriend. These are leather and feature the Alpine colours, and I thought they looked pretty snazzy. Paul Aaron's doing FP1 with Sauber. In fact, by the time you watch this, he may have even done it. Here was his name above the garage. This is one of 4 different FP1 sessions he'll be doing between now and the end of the year. Fred Vasseur was back in the paddock today, arriving in his blue outfit before changing into his red Ferrari kit. He missed last Sunday due to personal reasons. Unlike Fernando Alonso's outfit today, he's dressed by boss, and indeed he looked the part of a boss today, standing in front of the Aston Martin hospitality suite. I'm standing in a field not 500 metres from the front gate at Silverstone, and this is where you can camp.
It costs about £180 from Wednesday to the Monday. Electrical hookup is about £200 as well for Wednesday to the Monday. Or if you obviously want to do it different days, obviously it's a bit cheaper, so it's entirely up to you, depending on how long you stay. Over here is everything from entertainment, food, bar, drinks. Got a shop as well for you, that's new, and you've also got the merch stand as well. Showers and toilets, we have massive blocks on the right hand side of every field, and then in between them you have your fresh drinking water as well, and any waste points as well for any motorhomes and caravans.
Well, it's not often you can get a haircut on an F1 track, but that's exactly the case right here with Sheldon from HD Cutz collaborating with Qatar Airways for me to sit in this chair and have a drink. Well, this is great because I needed a haircut, and I wasn't going to be for another week, so you saved me some money, and that's great. How good is this, eh? Last time I had this done was in Doha at the Qatar Grand Prix, and it's a very good promotion for both Sheldon and Qatar Airways. And when you're here, come and have a look at Pierre Gasly's boots, and this, Travis Kelce's race suit, provided by Alpine. Of course, Travis is a shareholder in Alpine. And have a look at this, graffiti all over VCARB's back of their garage. What a mess. It's not actually a mess. This is part of a collaboration between the team and Slawn, an artist. And behind me, the guy's shirts also feature some of the artwork. Team principal Laurent Mecky's over here. He loves it. He thinks it's first class, and rightly so. It adds a bit of character to what can sometimes be a rather corporate paddock. And Laurent says he's going to organise a shirt for me to wear. You'll see it in a second. In fact, you'll see it now. Pretty snazzy, huh? Silverstone is the biggest race of the year crowd-wise. It'll be huge this weekend. I do hope you'll subscribe to me on YouTube and follow me on Instagram for a whole lot of extra content. Head over here and have a look. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.
I think that light's too bright. How do I turn that down?